Free hit 12. This could be a phenomenal week to play your free hit, especially if you want to take on the Erling Haaland captaincy. Let's have a look at how a free hit will look like in game week 12. But before we start this video, make sure you guys like this video because I can guarantee you this free hit team will definitely give you a green arrow. But let's start with the defense. I've gone with double Arsenal with Raya and Gabriel. I was looking at the fixtures in the Premier League for game week 12. I've got them below me. Who do we realistically think will keep a clean sheet, or who has better odds than Arsenal this week? The answer is probably no one, because Arsenal are just the best defence in the league. Also, we know Tottenham are better, let's say, away from home. But at the same time, when you watch Tottenham, do they create enough chances? No. Do they attacking dynamics look right? No. Could Tottenham, of course, get the odd goal? Maybe, but you can probably say that about every single side in the Premier League. But at the same time, do you trust Arsenal enough? Yes, the Arsenal are just the best defence in the world. I'm still going to go with double Arsenal. I'm going to go with Raya and I'm going to go with Gabriel with the aerial presence that he can obviously score a goal. Then I've gone with, let's say, two attacking fullbacks / wingbacks. Let's start with Munoz. But actually, before we start on Munoz, on a free hit, in my personal opinion, I want players that can go big. I think DEFCON defenders, as we know, they're how our normal teams look like. And DEFCON, over a long period of time, will definitely be more beneficial, let's say. But for one particular week, an attacking defender can obviously go get you an attacking return, getting you 13, 14 points potentially if they keep a clean sheet and bonus. The upside is just there to attack for one particular week. So I've gone with Munoz. Listen, Wolves have obviously appointed a new manager in Rob Edwards. How much impact is he going to have at Wolves straight away? I'm not too sure. At the same time, listen, Rob Edwards' job that he done last time in the Premier League when he was at Luton wasn't great. Does he have a reputation of being, let's say, a Premier League manager? To answer to that question is no. Was his job so far at Middlesbrough in the Championship, was he doing well? The answer to that question is yes. But at the same time, we have nothing to say that he's going to create an impact at Wolves straight away. So I'm still going to go with a couple Palace players. And I think Munoz, can you get an attacking return against Wolves? 100%. I think the upside is there with Munoz this week. And I wish I had him in my normal FPL team. Then I've also gone to Reece James against Burnley away. Listen, Burnley are still one of the worst sides in the Premier League. This is a good fixture to target. The only thing I would say there is obviously that possibility that Reece James might get rested. Of course, there's an odd chance that he plays both games for England in the qualifiers. Could he potentially get rested on that first game back against Burnley? Could Malo Gusto play right back like we saw in the last Premier League game? Yes, but at the same time, if people maybe don't want to go with that risk, someone like Cucurella is obviously a great option. But I still feel like the impact that Reece James can have in the final third, it might be worth taking a risk on a free hit. And listen, there are other options anyway from the defense on the free hit. I've gone to Truffy and Senesi on the bench. A Bournemouth defender against West Ham at home could be a phenomenal option. But listen, that's the defense I'm going to stick with for now. Let's see how the midfield is looking. Now the midfield, and listen, we are only free hitting for one man, or one man in particular. That is you, Mo Salah. Mo Salah is in this team. Nottingham Forest at home is a great fixture on paper. We know Forest, listen, Sean Dyche is still settling into his new club. Mo Salah, Liverpool, have they looked the best this season? No. Have we seen slight improvement though over the last couple of games? Yes, of course the Man City game wasn't great, but the victories against Aston Villa and Real Madrid especially were very, very impressive. And listen, we have seen a, let's say, upturn in terms of Mo Salah's underlying data over the last couple of games since the last international break. So hopefully if you guys are going to own Mo Salah, that could continue. And listen, he's still on penalties for Liverpool. That is obviously a massive benefit. So Mo Salah is in. I've also gone with Semenyo. Now, this is another interesting one because Bournemouth, let's say Semenyo's form hasn't been the best, but I look at what I think makes Semenyo a great FPL asset in terms of him as a player. As I said, I think Semenyo as an FPL asset gets helped when he has Evan Nilsson in the team because he can link up play, bring others into play, and I think that benefits someone like Semenyo. And obviously, Evan Nilsson against Aston Villa the last game, even though Aston Villa battered Bournemouth on the score sheet, Evan Nilsson actually had a good game. So I think that helps someone like Semenyo. But listen, he still takes enough, let's say, shots overall in terms of how, when you watch Semenyo. Semenyo's a player that, listen, last year he was in the top 5 for most shots in the Premier League. He's still going to get those opportunities to get that shot just because he's so good at creating separation, which is why I will still have him. And listen, West Ham at home is a good fixture. Then I've also gone with Brian and Mbeumo. I think going into this week against Everton at home, Manchester United's best asset for this week is probably Brian and Mbeumo. I know there's going to be a lot of debate if you want to go with Bruno Fernandes, if you want to go with a double up. I don't think that's a bad option. But listen, Brian Mbeumo, we know he has different routes to point to set pieces. He's playing in the final third, which is obviously something we can't necessarily say about Bruno Fernandes, let's say. Also, Everton on paper haven't been, let's say, the best defensively. And you're looking at this two centre backs, for example, Michael Keane and Tarkowski. Could Brian and Mbeumo get opportunities to get in behind them? Yes. I think Brian and Mbeumo could go very, very big in this game against Everton. So he has to be in on the free hit. And then I'm also going to start against Wolves away. Similar to my reasoning behind Munoz. I just don't expect Rob Edwards to come in and create enough of an impact where Wolves are, let's say, defensively solid, massively improves. And we know, listen, Saar only has a couple weeks before he goes away to AFCON. Game week 12, Saar, is your time to deliver. Because you have been doing that in every other competition, bar the Premier League, it seems like. But I'm still going to Saar. Then I've also gone to Enzo Fernandez against Burnley away. Now, this is a tricky one because I think this spot here, there can obviously be a couple different plays that people might want. People might obviously want Bukayo Saka as, let's say, another midfielder, and then obviously you have to rejig funds around. But I've gone with Enzo just because, like I said, Enzo Fernandez's last game against Wolves was very, very impressive when you watched him. He was the best player on the pitch. He got man of the match. His expected goal involvements numbers were very, very good. I feel like he's due a big return with the way he's been playing. Also, listen, Burnley, we know they're going to sit deep. Third man runs are obviously very, very crucial to breaking down low blocks. Enzo Fernandez is very, very good at that. So could this be like almost like a perfect fixture for Enzo Fernandez to return in? Yes. I do think there are other potential Chelsea options that you might want to go with. Garnacho could be a possibility. We know he got 2 assists the last game. Also, Neto, if people want to go there, Neto maybe has a bit more goal threat. 3 goals, 2 assists so far in the Premier League. That is not a bad option. But at the same time, I feel like with Neto and Garnacho, their minutes are not 100% guaranteed in terms of they're probably Chelsea's best wing pairing in terms of we expect them to start. But at the same time, we know someone like Esteval is going to come on. And Gittins can obviously come on. They do have options out wide, which is why I think Enzo is just a safety net out of all the Chelsea midfielders. Let's have a look at the attack now. Now the attack, and this is another area of the pitch that was very, very difficult. Let's start with the easy one. Jean-Philippe Mateta against Wolves away. He's going to be a lock in every single free hit team. He should probably be in your normal FPL teams. We know Crystal Palace going forward have been very, very impressive. This is a great fixture for Mateta. He's on penalties. Nothing more has to be said. Then the second option was João Pedro. I was looking at other forwards right now in this week for FPL. Who really stands out? For example, but like if we're looking at other fixtures, Bournemouth, West Ham, are you really going to go with Ivan Nilsson with how he's played? Are you going to go with a Jarrod Bowen? Probably not. Brighton, Brentford, that is a very, very tough game to call, which is why I don't know who, for example, if you want to go with a Danny Welbeck or Thiago, I think it's too hard to call. And that's what my judgment has been of a lot of the games where I'm not too sure what attackers to back. For example, a lot of people might go with Raul Jimenez against Sunderland. But Sunderland have been decent defensively, which is why I've kept coming back to João Pedro as the second forward. But I do think there's a possibility that people might want to go with a 4-5-1 structure, for example, starting Trufe or Senesi instead of João Pedro. Because João Pedro might get that goal, but at the same time, we criticise João Pedro a lot so far over the last couple of games in terms of he's not a high volume shooter, which is obviously not beneficial when we watch João Pedro in terms of him getting that goals. But at the same time, we know he's still good on the bonus. We know João Pedro in the last 2 games has scored for Chelsea. So right for now, he's going to be my free hit. But at the same time, like I said before, if people want to switch to a 4-5-1 structure, I don't mind it. Because like we always say, big at the back, he's back in FPL right now. So let's see what people do if they do play the free hit. If anyone is actually playing the free hit, let me know down below in the comments. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will be back soon.